Hey everyone, Joshua Tree Speaks. Is there something that you're stressing about that's coming up? Anxiety's getting the better of you? Instead of wondering, no, you're full-blown worrying about what's going to go wrong, what's going to happen to you. And tomorrow is having a full-blown takeover over today. Well, we're going to chill out together, go over a few tips. They're going to help you get through this and just show up and succeed. So stick with me. I got your back. All right now, or after the video, I want you to focus on the bodily sensations that you're experiencing. This is really important. And I think that we need to have some pushback, some interaction with the somatic experience that you're having, all right? It's the bottom-up approach. It's a body-to-mind directional approach. And that is to say that if you're able to adjust your breathing, if you're able to do a body scan, all right, like I can scan through and feel that, you know what, my posture, okay, yeah. All right, that's better. Yeah, we can practice body scanning and getting in tune, having interoception with ourselves. That is that we're able to pick up on the inner cues of our physical and, yes, emotional experiences inside ourselves so that we can adjust our posture, literally, figuratively, so that we can be more comfortable and get through our days. After you identify these bodily experiences, I think that it's going to be important for you to get accustomed to having anxiety. First step is that we need to be okay with being anxious about anxiety. So we need to be able to remove this double layer so that we're just looking right at things crystal clear, like it's having tracing paper over something, and it's just, no, let's just crumple up the tracing paper. We don't need that extra anxiety, but having anxiety, it's okay to have it, and you're going to get through it. You're going to figure it out. You're going to get better at dealing with it. I just want to validate you. This is what it is, and it's that we all need anxiety to some extent. It's anticipatory, and it's focused on the future, and it often goes awry, and I believe ends up building up into ultimately panic attacks. I can't tell you how many times that someone's come to my office, and it's still somewhat surprising at this point when someone is just learning for the first time. Look, they could be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're just figuring out what anxiety is to them. And maybe it's just that it's reached an extreme, or they've found a way to get through life to this point without having to worry about it. I doubt that, but often it's that we don't realize, actually, where do we learn what anxiety is? Is this something that we innately know? We understand? Certainly is an extra layer to that. No, I think a lot of people have to focus on figuring out what is anxiety to them. And that is not just the aforementioned bodily sensations. It's going to be, how does it affect your thoughts? And how does it distort them? How does it change your behaviors? This is all something for you to focus on and start tracking so that you can understand what is anxiety for you. Not the other person, not this person, not me. No, you, right? That's important. And so from here on out, I think that just pretend that you're a scientist, create a radar for these sensations and the way that it manifests within you. This is going to be, and it's, I'll say, tried and true, but this is going to be so critically important for you. So I'm going to shift into a few practical steps. We have our main approach here, and it's going to be that you're going to practice being better at having anxiety, right? Managing it. Okay, but here's the few practical tips and steps. Stay with me. All right, first we need to appreciate that your brain's trying to protect you. This is something that is important to consider because anxiety may not exactly be an enemy, okay? And it will first present to you a problem, something that it will beg, demand you to pay attention to. And so what is one of the main effective ways of dealing with anxiety? It's to avoid it, to avoid whatever's going on within you, outside of you. And it's also one of the more unhealthier ways to do this. So we're going to clean that up, make it a little less messy for you. Nonetheless, we got to realize that the short-term gratification of avoiding anxiety is absolutely going to make it worse. And hey, there's been people that come through my office and I find that it's just so impressive how long that they can get away with that, right? But it comes back to get them. And so like a bloodhound. It'll find you when you least expect it. The quick analogy that I have is that imagine being in the woods, right? And there's some, tree branch that snaps and you're like, oh, what's that? I don't, out of sight, out of mind. I didn't see any sort of scary thing over there. I don't know what's there. Nothing is. Ignorance is bliss. That oblivion, that willful oblivion, well, it won't work, will it? So you walk through the woods, you're continuing through, and something's behind you. You haven't looked, you don't know what it quite is, right? And suddenly the buildup, you start to believe that it's like a bear. And finally, at some point, you have the breakdown, you look around and it's just a little rabbit. Oh shoot, that's what you've been worried about this whole time? Silly analogy, but it illustrates a point, is that progression, that snowball effect is absolutely something that you're gonna have to face. Turn around, look at it. What is it that you're actually anxious about? Acknowledge it. That way you can respond to it appropriately. Because if you fear facing it, absolutely that'll spiral. Next step. This one is, I think, one of my main go-tos for helping my clients and just sharing it along with anyone that I love, care for, and want to help. So think about it this way, mental movies. I want you to think about this. This is metacognition here. This is thinking about your thinking. So when you're having anxiety, it is future-oriented, anticipatory. So let's not pretend there are mental movies that play through your head. The film reel goes on and you're just going on and on about all the things that might go wrong. And the truth is that it's a created, fabricated fiction, fantasy. So in these mental movies, were you wearing that shirt? Did you look that way? Where's the camera in these mental movies? You might be seeing something first person, third person. It might be looking at you. You might be looking at them. And whatever it is that you're doing in this mental movie, is it that you're destitute on the streets because, hey, there's bills to meet and it's hard out there, right? But you're not there yet. I'm going to borrow perspective from Maxwell Maltz. I believe that he said the nervous system can't differentiate fantasy, so our daydreams, between reality. And that I've thought about this. I've really contemplated it. And I realized that when we're having anxiety and we're having these mental movies, we're picturing all these things and scenarios inside our head, right? It could be, hey, serious stuff. Maybe we're feeling insecure. We're wondering what's going on with someone, right? We're fearing missing out. We're worried about that interview going wrong, sounding stupid, whatever it might be, right? And I will say, if no one's ever said this to you before, but you're remarkably creative. And maybe you should have taken up a career in film if you haven't already, because the scripts, the producing of these movies are so effective that they make you feel the level of anxiety that you do. Think about that for a second. These mental movies, they're fiction, they're fantasy, right? They haven't actually happened. You've borrowed trouble from the future and you've created this projection into it, and you're feeling it as if it already happened. You're borrowing trouble, that feeling from the future that might never ever be fulfilled. So, hey, kudos to you. That's really cool. You are quite a creative. Maybe there's some horror flicks that you can script. Hey, you'll be on Netflix in due time, greenlit for whatever it is that you got going on here, right? But it's very relatable. And I think that once you realize this, that there is something there that is a fantasy, call it what it is, shut it down. That's it, mental movies. This is one of the big tips I have for you, right? And I want you to practice it. This is something that I think will really help you. It's being able to just rationalize, realize point blank, hey, this is something that hasn't happened yet, and I'm not gonna go there. I'm done watching the movie, cut the film reel or turn it off, or it's becoming kind of antiquated, isn't it? Hey, it's it's like, you know what, I'm not gonna watch this reel, turn off, don't turn off this video, I'm not done yet, right? But these mental movies, it's just a matter about turning the power button off in your brain. And that could just be saying that this is insane if I'm gonna let myself believe that this is all reality, these mental movies that have not happened yet. And I'll just continue to struggle with this if I don't try to step in and intervene. Linking this back, I think I wanna just emphasize the interrupt. I think the first portion of this really is to acknowledge anxiety for what it is and trying to take the driver's seat and managing it, right? And so these mental movies, we have those going on, right? But we're gonna need an interrupt. We're gonna need to be able to pause, reflect, yes, we have the bodily sensations we're going to want to respond to as well. And so I think that for that specifically, we're going to need an interrupt, a pause button. We got to be able to look at things and say, hey, wait a second, are things actually the way they are feeling to me? Am I okay? So we need to ground ourselves. And that's going to be a huge step here too. And honestly, it's customizable. I mean, it's not just about, having some tactile sensory tool with you. It could be your breath work, right? And it's just trying to slow things down so you have that time to process things and remind yourself that here I am, I'm good, I'm okay, right? And stay in the moment, because again, anxiety, anticipatory, it's focused on the future. And I think there are times where it's okay to say, forget the future. I'm here right now, and that's where I gotta be. The past, yeah, you'll process it appropriately, but present, this is where it is. Ground yourself in it and go from there, step at a time. So keep in mind that when we pause the scene, your anxiety, it's a cue and not a prophecy. So stop future tripping and fantasizing in a way about the future. These kind of dreadful daydreams or daymares that you have where you're worried and wondering if everything's going to be okay. That is, that ground yourself. I'm here right now. Note what's around you, what's going on. Remind yourself, hey, this is it. I'm right here. I'm okay. I'm safe. And stay there. Stay there for a moment. Don't just dip out and leave your calm and peace, that moment of peace that might just become another moment and another and build on itself before you spiral. The last one I got for you is reframing. This is something that will show up in many other videos, and certainly I imagine you might have heard of it before, but we got to have the right perspective. I called it guiding perspectives. You're going to hear it from me again. Apologies in advance. And so the reframe is that we might be looking at whatever it is that you're worried about in the wrong way, or at least maybe in a less effective way. I don't want to say the wrong way. Is there any right way? It's just there's options to choose from. What perspective do you want to look at this worry, this concern of yours, right? You've been cued. Let's not prophesize, but let's keep perspective. And that perspective might be based on an analogy that I've used a few times at least. And it's that the person that might be going through an interview, look, it's high stakes. You want to get that job. You may be at your wit's end already. But let's just put it this way, regardless of what it actually is, you might say that the person that sees this interview as practice versus this is it. It's do or die. It's dreadful. It's I gotta make the most of this. It's World Series Game 7. It's the championship. It's the last final 5 minutes, 5 seconds, whatever. I think that the person that views it as practice will see it as an experience that they'll take something out of regardless of the outcome. And so, borrowing again from my last video, it's that we need to invest in the effort and not be so worried about the outcome. It's great to make goals. We have to do that. But I think it can go awry when that's all that we're relying on. We need to be able to feel good about our efforts and focus on growth and self-improvement. It is worth it for you to show up to whatever it is that you're going to go through, that you're worried about right now. The figuring out, the feeling through these feelings, this anxiety, right? The work that you're doing, it's already started. Sorry to say if that's a surprise to you, but now when you're building up to it, when you're getting to the day of or whenever it might be, if it's already happening, you're wondering what's next, right? It's just that you need to keep pace and think about it this way where, hey, I'm practicing, right? This is sure, it's performance. There may be high stakes right now. I do not want to invalidate or dismiss you from that, but I will say that it's still okay to look at it at the same time, if not absolutely override with the perspective that you'll come out ahead. This is something that will provide you some substance, something that you can digest and work through and be better the next time around. And so, is it that you're going on a date, right? Or, hey, maybe it's a court date. Maybe it's something more serious, right? It's still gonna be something that you'll work through. You'll make sure that you're okay. You can handle this. Think about what you've handled before, what you've already dealt with, right? Maybe this is the next level and it's time for you to level up again, right? There's probably some things you might want to learn about through this, and that's something you could post-process. But right now, just keep pace and patient and focus on the meaning of what's going on right now, what you can get out of it. as personal development. Or you could skip over that part. And I'm not saying that that's going to be necessarily a bad thing, but hey, if you're going to go through this, why not get something extra out of it? Or get what truly is, in essence, the best out of it. And that is that you become better as a person, as someone capable, more competent at being you and working on all the things that you do. Make sure you have the right perspective in place. It's kind of just having like the tone, the mood. If you're writing a story, right, it's just get into the right voice, headspace, so that, you know, maybe it's a little less work when you go back and edit this and post-process, you know. It's kind of like starting out on the right foot. And that is just to be fair to yourself about what's going on right now. And you'll come back to it, hey, even if it doesn't go well, maybe it just, you know what, ends up being a disaster. Okay, well, a lot of therapy focuses on the past, and hey, it's very effective. You'll get through it. You got this. The last thing I'll say is that you don't need to be fearless. You just need to stay in the present, be kind to yourself, be fair, focus on what's really important right now. If no one else has said it to you yet, including yourself, you're going to make it through this. You really will. You're going to be all right, one way or another. You'll make sense of it. You'll make the most of it. I really appreciate you tuning in, staying with me here, and I really hope it helps. Please like the video if you do. Subscribe if you want to hear some more videos of encouragement and also structured strategies for you just becoming better about being yourself and getting through all the things in life that you need and want to do, and whatever else you don't. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Please drop a comment for whatever it might be that you got going on right now. I make it my full intention to reply to every comment I can, so I'll definitely keep an eye out for them. You take care of yourself. Don't forget, you got this.